Kylene, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Go
Sorry,
ahead and
talk over
nope,
the top
you're
of
good.
you.
You're good. Yeah, I'll let you do that. Okay. Kylene, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's dive into the discussion. Can you share just some background information about you? Where did you grow up and a little family history?
Well, I grew up on a farm north of Dodge City, and my dad farmed. Mom stayed at home while we were still kids, and didn't work until we went to high school. I graduated from Dodge City High School. I went to college at HutchCC Community College. I was on the livestock judging team for 2 years, and then I went to K-State for a year and rodeoed there and decided K-State was not for me, and went to Oklahoma State and rodeoed there and got a bachelor's in ag communications and animal science. And then
ended up here.
Yeah, I ended up at the Journal. Yeah.
Can you share a little more about growing up on the farm? What was it like? Any family memories there?
Yeah, my dad farmed. He did mostly wheat and milo and had sunflowers a time or two, and he did custom work for other farmers in the area. And I have a twin sister and an older sister, and so the farm was pretty much all we knew until, we went to high school. We helped. I mean, I still don't know how to drive the tractor to this day, and I kind of like to keep it that way. We were the gophers. We went and got parts. We did all that stuff. And we were in 4-H. We didn't start 4-H till we were 13. And just kind of did all that stuff growing up. And it's neat to be able to share that with my kids now.
How did you find your interest in writing, or what led you to that path?
Well, it was actually when I was in high school, I had a yearbook class, and I thought maybe this is kind of cool. We obviously, it was 100 years ago, got to take pictures with film and learned how to develop film and had all that stuff and pre-digital cameras. And
yeah,
my livestock judging coach is like, well, what do you want to do? Do you have any interest in anything? And I'm like, well, this yearbook class is kind of cool. We'll give that a whirl. And he suggested ag communications, which I had never heard of at that point. I didn't know it was such a thing. And so we got to talking about that, and he kind of pointed me in the direction. And Hutch didn't have they had an ag program, but they didn't have any ag communications classes. But I just took regular journalism classes, and I had a teacher there at Hutch that was really good. And there was lots of other ag kids in the class, and she kind of guided us and let us really write about things that were ag related. And she learned along the way, about agriculture. And it was really kind of neat to participate in a class like that. I had a yearbook and a newspaper class and that sort of thing. So
you mentioned livestock judging. Did you start that in high school or with 4-H, or how did you get into that?
Yeah, we in 4-H, we didn't start till we were 13, so we just kind of jumped right into the livestock judging. They had a new county agent at the time that really wanted to have a team, and we started participating. I had a cousin that was a year older that was in 4-H, and she was on the judging team, so we all just kind of went together, and it turned into something that was pretty cool. I mean, we judged every contest there for a while. And when I was a junior in high school, we were third at the Kansas State Fair. And back then they took the top 3 teams, like first place would go judge at Louisville, second would judge at Denver, and third would judge at Kansas City at the American Royal. And we happened to win third that year and got a judge at the American Royal. And I think we ended up third. I can't remember what it was at the Royal, but we did pretty good. So the next year, everybody else in the county thought that they wanted to judge too. So it turned into a competition thing, and you had to have so many points to participate. And
yeah,
I had a not so good year that year, and I had to sit out. I was an alternate because we ended up winning the state fair that year.
Okay.
And so I got to go along with the other 4 that got a judge, which my twin sister and my cousin were on the team, and Nathan Martin and Tanner Dowling were all on our team. So it was pretty fun.
Very cool.
Lots and lots of memories from the judging team. And
yes, I'm sure. Let's see. I guess, could you share a little bit more about, let's dive into HPJ and your career there. What's been your most memorable experience so far? Hi.
That's a big ask because I have a horrible memory. I mean, it's been 20 years since I started. I actually started out as the copy editor.
Okay.
And that's what the position was when I interviewed, because I was at Woodward at the newspaper, their daily newspaper there. And Mom actually sent me the announcement for the position for copy editor, and got an interview with Holly and Dwayne and Tom and them. And they really liked that I had some writing experience at that time, and the copy editing part of it, because we had to edit all our own stuff at the newspaper. And I guess one of the most memorable things was probably my first day. We used to have what they called Pie Meeting Day or Pie Day, which was the quarterly meeting. And that was my first day. And so it was a bit overwhelming because everybody was in the office. And Dwayne made a point of saying, you know, if you're late, you get to sit on the front row. And luckily I wasn't late. I was early that day, which so I got to meet everybody that day, which was pretty neat, because, you know, the salespeople at that time weren't always in the office, and you didn't know everybody until they'd come for Pie Day. And I asked the obvious question, why don't you have any pie? There was never any pie there at Pie Day. They didn't find it as funny as I did. But
do you remember your first assignment or writing interview?
I was trying to think about that. I went with Holly a few times within the first month or so. She did a cotton story down in Oklahoma, and I took pictures while she did the interview. I didn't start really writing feature stories until later on. They started giving me more assignments as far as that goes. There was one, I was trying to think. It was a guy in Nebraska. It was an antique machinery one, which, you know, I just finished up the antique machinery cover story. So the guy in Nebraska, I found him on the internet somehow. I mean, this was like 2005, 2006. So it was not like the internet now. And so I drove to north of McCook, Nebraska, and met this guy, and his place was on the side of the road, and it was kind of interesting. But he was a really good interview, and he was kind of kooky, which, you know, they're all kind of that way, the antique guys. I shouldn't say that, but the antique guys are kind of that way. They're a little eccentric at times.
Yeah.
He was fun. I was trying to think. There was an interview a couple years ago with Billy Allen, which used to have the horse feed, and he was a horse trainer and stuff up by Scott City. And he had retired, and he was the week I talked to him, he was moving to Arizona, and it was just refreshing talking to an old horseman like that, and all these anecdotes he had to say. And he was good to talk to. You know, there's always the guys that want to bestow their wisdom and share it, and I think the story turned out really good. I was really proud of it. And he died, a year ago or 2 years ago? I can't remember. Yeah. So I've had a few of those stories where I really enjoyed talking to the people and getting to know them, and kind of kept track of them through the year. And there's been a couple that have been like that. So there's been one guy that he would call, I think it was 2020. He would read something in the paper, and he would call, and we'd talk for 20 minutes. He'd call at least once a month. And I haven't heard from him, so I don't know if he's still around or not, because he was an older gentleman too.
So you've been around agriculture your whole life. You write about it every day. What's something you learned that stands out that you didn't realize, I guess? something surprising?
Well, I'm kind of a pessimist. That's just my inner being is a pessimist. I'm kind of negative, and there's always, it seems like there's people out there that want to help. There's people out there that want to share, and there's people that want to talk. And I like to listen to them and kind of tell their story through the words and stuff. I really struggle with cold calls, and hey, you want to do this story? I don't like that whole process. It just, as long as I've been doing this, I still don't like that. It's
hard.
really,
Yeah.
it's a struggle. But there's always good in people. And, like when the Starbuck fire happened in 2017, our farm was hit, and that there was such an outpouring of not just to us, but everybody else. And that kind of, made me think, hey, people aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So that's probably the one biggest thing, is that people want to talk and want to tell their story and want to share what's going on with their farm and stuff.
Let's see here. Do you have a favorite of all the stories you put together?
I was trying to think of that the other day. I'd made some notes, and I think, I don't know if I can narrow it down. There was one, can't remember. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Lots of noise behind me.
We can come back to that question. We can come back to that. Let's go to your hobbies or community involvement outside of work. You want to share a little bit about that?
Hobbies, what are those? I used to have a horse and run barrels, and she got old and she died, and I haven't got anything of that. And the boys have been in 4-H, and they have show cattle now, and we've had goats and stuff, and I like hauling them to the shows and taking them to the shows. And we just came back from the Kansas Beef Expo and took my oldest took his heifer to her first big show. So that's pretty fun. And because of their involvement in 4-H and showing, I'm part of the committee in Ford County that we call it the Pillars of the Community. We help raise money. Instead of having a regular auction at the Ford County Fair, we have a banquet for the kids, so they don't have to walk the animal through the ring. They don't have to deal with all the tiers. They get to keep the animals if they're going to show them again. They can take them on to the state fair or the junior livestock show or wherever they want to go with them. And the money that the kids raise and the parents help secure, those kids will get paid based on their placings in their classes. They have to be market animals. We haven't gotten enough funds raised yet to reward the breeding animals, but the market animals in all the species, meat goats, sheep, swine, and beef they all get certain placings, down to certain placings in the classes. So they get some money that way. And in the last few years, our premium auction just wasn't getting the kids the money that they needed, and it was a struggle. So we've been really good and successful the last 2 years. We're going into our 3rd year right now, so
have you
hopefully
seen
it stays.
Increase in community involvement in that new program?
Yeah, we have had issues with reaching out the wrong time of year, which some companies have budgets that go certain times of the year, and we've gotten better at that and reaching out at the right time. And my dear sweet children get drugged to different people, and they have to talk to them, and it's good for them, because that's my least favorite thing to do, is to ask people for money. So so they get to go talk to people, and they enjoy it. They willingly go, so I shouldn't say they get drugged.
In photography, you haven't mentioned that.
Yeah, I think I started taking photos for the public in 2016 maybe, and started out with families and couples and kids, and I've shot weddings, and I just actually delivered a gallery last week, 2 weeks ago, from a wedding. And you meet a lot of people. Of course, a lot of people that I shoot are the ones that are family, friends, or friends of family. And so there's strangers, of course, but we end up being, very, very good clients that come back. I've had some clients that have come back and over and over, which is nice. And it's just a way that I get to be creative and take photos of, different things that I probably wouldn't if I just didn't offer that service. And it's a challenge at times to get it all done, but I always manage.
I love looking at your albums online. You do beautiful work.
Thanks.
You're currently sitting on the LPC board for this year, right? Do you want to share more about that? What are you guys doing, or what's on the agenda for the upcoming year?
Well, we've been working on gathering new members. It's the Livestock Publications Council, and like the Journal is a member because we cover livestock events. We have freelancers that are members. We have, service members. There's a different variety. They added last year, they added what they call a legacy. So if somebody is retired, but they still want to be involved, you can be a member of LPC. We have contests. And this fall they had a regional workshop in Illinois, at the University of Illinois. They had Temple Grandin there. It was a really neat event. They kind of tried to keep it small, to keep it more intimate, and they had a few workshop sessions, different writing, hour-long things. They had a photography one, and they obviously had Temple Grandin during lunch. So it turned out really neat. They've got a few members. We always want more members. So the way membership works for publications is anybody that's on the masthead that has a byline can enter contests. They have critique for anything you enter in the awards contest. They had this fall they had a photography contest. So there's opportunities to get involved and improve your work, learn about different things going on. Like they have Coffee and Collaboration, which is once a month, that's online. They'll bring in people to talk. There was one this summer that I watched about AI, which I'm an old lady apparently, because I don't know much about that, but it was neat to kind of sit and learn about it. So yeah, it's been fun to be on the board. And
how has it helped you, in your professional development or your job, being involved with that? How's it helped?
Kind of helped me get out of my shell a little, kind of put myself out there and help. Again, like I said, I'm kind of one that likes to sit back and listen, and then I'll kind of throw my ideas out there. It's good to have somebody that is from a publication like the High Plains Journal that covers a variety of things, and to get our voice out there and get people to see the journal and what we're doing and participating in. So that's handy too.
Going back to your career, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be? Or to any young individuals listening to this?
Just to, put yourself out there and do things, and don't just sit back and wait for the opportunities. I know that a time or two I've kind of waited, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And then it's just, the opportunity just went right on by. So just kind of jump on it and do what you need to do and get it done. I'm a procrastinator by nature. That's just the way that I operate. That's probably why I didn't have children until I was, 30. So yeah, it's just the way that I operate, that sometimes I need to just go, just do it.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Okay, let's do some fun tidbits about you. People may not know. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
My husband would say the doom scrolling on TikTok would probably be mine. He can't hear me talk anyway, so oh, probably TikTok scrolling is probably one of my guilty pleasures. I don't know what else.
One thing people may be surprised to know about you.
I mean, there's some that know. I'm a twin. I have a twin sister. So if you see someone that looks like me out in public and
yeah, the first time I saw her, I waved. I thought it was you. Nope.
Yeah, there's been a time or two and people are like, I waved at you, and I was like, sorry, you probably ran into my sister.
Yeah.
There was one time that somebody asked me how her husband was, and I was like, and I was in a bad mood. It was county fair, so it was not a very good happy time, and I was like, I don't know where he's at, and I wasn't very nice. I had to go back and apologize. I'm like, hey, you hit me at the wrong time, and yeah.
Okay, here's an interesting one. If you could host a dinner with any 3 people, who would they be?
Oh, I don't know. I thought about that one and I could not come up with something on that. I don't know.
Any
probably
legendary barrel racers?
Yeah, Lisa Lockhart is probably my favorite. She's been to the NFR 19 times and still hasn't won the world. She's came close.
I know, but she's so close. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sherry Survey would be fun to talk to, but
yeah,
Emily Miller, she grew up in Ingalls, and
he's my favorite.
Yeah, I always root for him. And I remember when I was still running barrels, and she was, a little kid, this little red-haired girl on a black pony, and she was just zooming around everywhere, and to only know that she would end up going to the NFR 7 times and probably go some more. So yeah,
she was a little firecracker. I remember going around the OK Horse Association circuit showing with her, and yeah, she was fun to watch.
Yeah, she was lots of fun. I don't know anybody like professionally, like photographers or anything like that, because they're all so different. And you learn so much from everybody, and I'm kind of, I don't know, a dinner like that would not be very much fun because I don't like it. But yeah, if it was people like that, like those 3 barrel racers, would be kind of cool.
Let's go back to your family. We didn't talk about your boys or Spence. Do you want to share a little bit about their interest? What Spence do?
He works for a farmer that he takes care of their cows, and they have his cows, and then we have a group of our own cows and some heifers, and he takes care of those. And he did ride horses for the public, break colts and stuff. As he's gotten older, he doesn't do that as much. We've got a few of our own that he rides and takes care of. And he used to go to ranch rodeos and in the ranch broncs and stuff. He'd do that, and he still likes to go day work for people and help at Brandon and stuff. And it's always fun to photograph when there's stuff like that around that he does. And my oldest son, Sean, he's 14 and thinks he's 25 and rules the world and drives his mother absolutely insane. But I guess that's his purpose in life. And Chance, he is 11, and they are night and day. They are like oil and water. They fight all the time, which I always said I wanted to have boys because girls are so dramatic, and that's not the case. These two are pretty dramatic. So they're a mess, and um they're in 4-H. They started 4-H when they were 7, and tried like a steer to get them to livestock judge, and they're not having any part of that. And
Yeah, you
Sean's
gotta want to do it.
yes. And Sean's in FFA now. He's a freshman at Spurville High School, and they have it's their first year of having FFA after many years. I think they had it a long time ago, but they're actually going to sign their charter next month. So, which that's kind of cool. He got to go to the National FFA convention this year because he sold the most blue and gold out of the
way to
chapter.
go.
So he got to go to that. He was pretty excited. And I was terrified because he's been to a big city with us, but he's never been to a big city without us. So it was a good thing. He's got a very good teacher, Miss Thompson, that she just drags them all over the place, and they got to see a bunch of stuff. So it was pretty neat for him.
Wow, what a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions I thought of. For your writing, being at HPJ, is there someone that stands out who's helped you become a better writer, inspired you, or a mentor that's made an influence on your career?
Kind of looking back, we've had, we had Holly as an editor, and we had Bill Spiegel for a while, and Dave, and we've had copy editors too that we, would work on our stuff to improve it. And at the time, I would get a little territorial. I don't know if that's the right word. Try to improve our work, and it's frustrating at the time, but looking at it now, it's like, man, they were trying to make it better and polish it. And I really appreciate those folks that take the time to read what I write and make it even better. And even though it's frustrating to see all the red ink, like that's what they used to do back in the day, used to put red ink all over everything. And I think if Dave had a printer, then he would actually put the red ink on the paper, because that's just the way Dave operates. But no, they all kind of through the years have kind of helped me to make the best story possible.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Thanks for listening to me ramble.
No, that was good.